I think it's boost or bust. The new boost program is so powerful that people are making 10x what they are on a boosted article than a non-boosted article. So that's a lot of money, and this program is getting bigger, not smaller.
She's not just making waves, but creating a splash on Medium. You know what's super cool? Medium CEO Tony Stubblebine often leaves comments on her stories. And what if she were the CEO? Well, she's got plans and we are hearing all about them. Plus, we'll chat about the latest and greatest changes on Medium, the updated partner program, the winner takes it all boost, and making money with Robin Welding, who has earned over $250,000 only by writing online. Robin, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Christina.
People know you as the lady with the mustache. Who are you?
I'm Robin Wilding. I've been a professional writer for about 15 years, although in my day job, it's more corporate writing for customers, doing marketing material, blog posts, that sort of thing. I've been on Medium for about a year. It was a year, September 26th. I found Medium through a Zuli Rain video and absolutely loved it. I call Medium my dessert writing. I started doing it and I never looked back. And now people know me as the lady with the mustache, which became kind of a gag, and I've kept up, but that's who I am on Medium now, I guess.
I love to help people navigate the system and to show them what's possible on Medium. And I know you love to help people too. I'd like to know, how come you like to write about Medium? And is it true, as especially new writers think, that you can earn big bucks writing about writing on Medium and earn money with meta stories, meaning stories about Medium?
I love to write about Medium because it is something that's still fairly new for me, having only been on the platform for a year. But when I decided to really make a go of it, which was really at the beginning of 2023, this year, I really sort of dug in and tried to get into the community and learn as much as possible about it. And when I combined that with my background in writing, I found that I was just really getting it pretty quickly. And I'm kind of a people helper, so I wanted to help other people navigate the system, which can be really confusing. And when I became an editor and I got into different Slack groups, I'm in a Slack group with nominators, I'm in a Slack group with Medium, I started my own Discord group, which anyone is welcome to join. There's a link in my bio. You're welcome too, Christina. And when I started doing that, it really just connected a lot of the dots, and the amount of effort that I put into learning the platform, which might be the same with you, Christina, it was just easy to write Medium meta content because I was really getting it. So that's kind of why I write about it, because I want everybody on Medium to have equal footing. And it's not always an equal place, so I want to share all the information that I get with everybody else. You can earn some money because people do like reading about them, but especially with the new rule that came out, 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, that meta tag stories, so anything tag Medium, is only going out to your followers and the followers of the publication that it's put in. It's not going into the algorithm or distributed, and it's not eligible for a boost. So the reach that you can get with them is more limited than other stories. So while you can earn a little bit of money from them, the opportunity to earn money is much greater if you're in a more popular niche that's going to hit bigger distribution. I had one article that went quite viral about a publication that was taking stories off of Medium and putting them on their own website and charging a membership fee, and that company was making like $1 million a month. So that was one of my biggest stories. Another one of my biggest stories is how I've made over $250,000 as a writer. I had that one pinned to the top of my profile, and anything you pin is going to get the most views. So that's kind of one of the reasons that it got the most views. And you can either read it or I can save you from reading it now. And the answer how I made that is over time. Writing's not a gig to go into if you want to get rich, but you can make an income off of it over time. My other highest earning stories, one of them is called Manifesting is Bullshit, which is kind of a humorous take on how you really have to put the work into life. Another one that did really well is Does Dick Size Matter? I think that one was just such a curiosity to people, and I weaved some humor into it, and that one did really well, and it's got, I think, like a 86% read ratio, which is quite good. In terms of the story I'm most proud of, I'd say there was a couple of them. One of them I wrote about a recent diagnosis I've had with something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is this disease where you get flexible and like your skin gets stretchy. And I really kind of put myself out there more than I normally do, so I am really proud of that one. And I wrote another one about living with chronic pain that a lot of people really resonated with, so I am really proud of that story as well. It is not a great way to earn money, in my opinion. And if you don't love it, don't do it.
That's spot on, Robin. I couldn't agree more. And one of the best ways to get views on Medium is to tell others how to make money, even if you aren't. What's your opinion on that?
I think that was a big thing on Medium when I joined, but they're really kind of suppressing that content in the feed now, which is great, because the amount of stories on Medium about how to make money on Medium or how to make money online with side hustles was just bad. And a lot of the people giving the advice, I can bet you they were not making that money. So yeah, if you are making that money and you found a really good way, I mean, great, you can tell people, but it is a really overdone niche. And if you aren't making money doing that and you just think like, oh, I read about it and I think I could make money, don't write about it, because nobody cares. People want firsthand personal stories of things that you've actually done and accomplished. So I don't know. I personally would tend to stay away from those stories in general.
If you want to kickstart your Medium writing career, grab my free ebook in the show notes. Robin, you know I love your honesty and your authenticity when writing on Medium. And apparently cursing is also something that is authentic to you. Where did you learn how to curse like a motherfucker?
So I've always kind of been a big fan of cursing in speech. And I've never got to use that in writing because I can't curse for clients. So when I came to Medium and I found Jason Provencio and he was cursing, I was like, fuck, we can curse on here. And it was just it from there. I just kind of went and ran with it because I'd never gotten to do that before. But I do it in real life, so it was authentic for me. And if it's authentic for you, I'd say don't hold back. Just don't curse at people. You can curse at yourself. You can curse in humor. You can curse in anger, but don't call somebody a fucking asshole, because that's not great. And definitely don't punch down when you do it. Some people may do it at Trump, but Trump's obviously a lot bigger than they are, so that's punching up. Just never punch down when you do it.
Talking about honesty and authenticity, how important is this when writing online?
Authenticity and being honest is really important if you're writing on a place like Medium, where you're sharing your personal stories and your journey and your experiences with your readership. That authenticity is absolutely, absolutely vital, because that's what's going to be interesting for people. That's the meat and potatoes of who you are. Now, when I write for clients, I have to be authentically them, which is a little harder to do sometimes. But Medium is definitely a different place, and authenticity is so important. So if there's something that you're thinking about writing, but then say, oh no, maybe I shouldn't, give it a shot. I think your audience will probably appreciate the honesty, and I think you'll be surprised how many people feel whatever way you feel.
Writing in a conversational style means writing in a way you talk. I know you do this all the time. I'd like to know your top tips on how to embrace writing in a conversational way.
Being conversational in writing it's not quite as easy as it looks, because you want it to come across conversational, like you're having a conversation, but you don't want it to be so casual that it's not a good read. We don't write exactly the way that we speak because we have more time to format the words when we're writing. Whereas when you're speaking, it's just straight brain to pie hole, and you only have microseconds. So for me, writing in a conversational style is writing the way that you'd talk if you'd had a bit more time to think about what you're going to say. That's how I kind of advise people to write conversationally. Write conversational how you'd speak if you had more time to prepare what you're going to talk about.
Medium says it shows our stories to the people who want to read them. Is this true, or do we have to promote our stories on our own?
Yes and no. Medium does have a built-in audience that your work can be shown to, and using tags and publications can help, but you really do have to help get your name out there, because there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of people doing the same thing. So there is a readership you can tap into, but you have to do the work. You have to look up the right publications for your post. You have to use the right tags. You have to build your audience over time. And all of that is up to you. And Medium gives you the platform and the tools, but you have to use them yourself.
In your former life, you started as a marketing and sales manager, Robin. And I'd like to know, how was the time and what are the key learnings you now use when writing online? And in addition, I know that you accidentally started your own company, and we'd like to know, what had your mom to do with it?
Yeah, so I started my own company a number of years ago, and it kind of happened accidentally. My mom's a realtor, and I made her a new website and some marketing material, and a lot of her coworkers loved it, and they wanted one, and then some of their friends wanted one. So I realized I was kind of onto something, and I started a company from there. And I became well, really, I was doing a lot of the roles for the company. It was a very small team. I had one person doing the social media advertising aspect of it, and I had one person doing coding development and some of the web design. So I was really kind of wearing all sorts of hats, but I was firmly in control of the marketing and sales, which taught me a ton. Not only about marketing and sales in general, but about how to do that online and how to get people's attention and where and when to place content. So that really helped me on Medium, definitely.
There are many writers who are writing on the internet full-time. This is not your full-time job. You are a content strategist. So I'd like to know, what is this and how do you help small business owners?
So for my job, I have some clients who hire me as a writer alone, and I create content from their whole editorial and marketing calendar. So I work with their team of people, especially people in their social media marketing departments. But then I have some small clients who really have no idea what to do, and I help them create the content that's going to help convert some of their readers into new customers. So I help them find, for example, let's say they're a dentist office and they're just getting off the ground, and the dentist had a specialty in maxillofacial cranial dental surgery. I would really help them get into publications or online websites that focus on that type of niche to gain them the expert status that they're looking for. That's sort of one of the things that a content strategist would do. But really, it's just about figuring out what the best foot forward is in terms of a content strategy, and then implementing that in the ways that's going to get them to their goals, whether that goal is establishing themselves as an expert or bringing in clients, or sometimes both.
Medium is my home, and I know yours too. How would you describe Medium as a platform and as a community?
it's a really communal place. It's a place for a lot of like-minded people and very supportive overall in general. On the other side of that, there are assholes. Just like everywhere in life, you're going to find your people and you're going to find people who aren't your people. But overall, Medium is this incredible, vibrant community. It's absolutely wonderful. And you're going to find your people in specific publications and with specific writers and readers. And it's just a matter of finding where your home is, because Medium's also kind of a big place. For me, when I joined, I first felt at home when I found my buddy Jason's publication, the Bouncing and Behaving blogs. It was just my kind of people. And that was the first time that I was like, yep, this is it. And for you, that might be, posting in Katniss, if you're a cat lover. It's finding the people that you really resonate with, because it's going to make the experience so much more enjoyable as a platform.
Talking about people that resonate with you, often people don't know what their audience is. How can they find their tribe? And what's yours?
My tribe on Medium is people who want to laugh, people who curse and can make fun of themselves and are just unapologetically who they are. I'd say that's my tribe on Medium.
What was the funniest story you ever read on Medium?
There's so many. That's really hard to say. One that always sticks out in my brain is by Mark. I'm totally gonna butcher his last name. Suroviec. He wrote an article about Medium's private island, where he goes to it and meets this. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to say any spoilers, but he goes to Medium private island and it's absolutely hilarious. That's one that always just pops into my head all the time. I love that one.
Talking about humor writing, what are your favorite tags besides humor and how do you use them?
I would say I don't really have favorite tags per se. I would say the ones I use most commonly, Medium for my meta stories, writing, also, whether that's a meta story or giving writing advice. And other than that, it's humor. Humor is probably my most commonly used tag. Besides that, I'll use whatever is relevant to the article, because some tags might stay the same. Like, for example, humor, if I put humor into it, I can use that tag on anything. But then you want to combine that with tags that are more relevant to the article.
Let's talk a bit more about humor. What would you do and change if you were the new CEO of Medium.com?
That's funny, because I just wrote a post on me doing a hostile takeover of Medium in a satirical way, where I break in with ninjas and grappling hooks. And one thing I would bring back is the entity bar. Christina, I know you wrote an article about this a while ago. I think that was how I found out about the entity bar, because it was before my time. But I would bring that back. For anyone who doesn't know, the entity bar is at the top of the feed. They had these little floating heads with little numbers next to them, and it showed you when your favorite authors created a new post. I think that is so essential, especially in today's post-boost world, where it can be harder and harder to find your favorite writers. And for me, I come to Medium for the great writing, I do, but I come for the people. And I don't want only new people constantly in my feed. I want to be able to find the people that are the reason that I come back. So that's one thing I would do if I was CEO. I would bring back the entity bar.
Talking about Medium CEO, he's out there active in the comments. And I know that Tony often replied to your stories. What was this like and what were you talking about?
Tony has commented on a couple of my posts and he's liked a few of them as well. A lot of the time it's when I tag him in something. Tony Stubblebine really is out there active in the comments, which is insane. I've never really seen a CEO that does that, so that's really crazy. I don't remember exactly what we've talked about. I just remember being terrified seeing his name pop up. Tony Stubblebine commented on your post. But I think it was just sort of overall Medium chatter. And honestly, I think the last time was a couple months ago. So everything has changed since now anyway.
Let's talk about Buster Benson now. Buster Benson is a product manager at Medium. I really like him because I'm a product manager myself, and I like how he's engaging and communicating with Medium's audience. He's a cool guy, he's listening, and he's pretty good at replying. What do you think about Buster?
So I'm a big Buster fan. I think he well, number one, he's a really interesting dude. He's really good at communicating and I don't want to say arguing, but discussing things on like with real tact and listening and understanding. And he's also really out there active in the comments and in the community as well. He actually joined my Discord group and he's popped in there a couple times. He's a really cool guy and he's actually really funny too. I like him a lot. We're planning a June wedding. He doesn't know that yet though.
From Buster to boost or bust. I love this article. It really hit home. Medium adapted the algorithm and the earnings calculations one more time. What do you think about it and how does it make you feel?
So Medium's new earning calculation and something that Buster posted recently is that they see three ways to achieve the same goal if your goal is getting your work read and or earning money. And that's through the boost program, through read time, and through engagement. They say that it's equal paths to the same thing. I completely disagree. I think it's boost or bust. The new boost program is so powerful that honestly, people are making 10x what they are on a boosted article than a non-boosted article. So that's a lot of money coming out of the pot, and this program is getting bigger, not smaller. They're at about 100 nominators for the boost program right now, and they want to get that up in like over 1,000. So that's going to be a lot of views because each one gets 500 views, and that's not counting impressions, the amount of times that an article is put in front of people for them to click on it. So I really do think it is boost or bust, and a lot of people should be focusing on the boost because it is by far, hands down, the best way to get your name out there, to get in front of the most people, and to make the most money. Having said that, I've only been boosted twice myself. It really can be hit or miss. So there's also not a lot of reliability to it for most people. So I think a lot of people, including myself, are just kind of hoping we get boosted, but carrying on as if we're not. But I do recommend, if you can, to at least post some of your articles in publications that have the boost, because that is the best way to be seen.
I know you got boosted twice. Any tips for new writers?
When it comes to the boost, the best tip I can offer you is to post in boost publications. So from what I've been told, about half of the content being boosted is coming through the boost program nominators who run these publications that have boost powers. And then half of the other content is found by curators and lone wolf nominators. So they can come across your work anywhere on Medium, and it does happen every day. But your odds are greater in those boosted publications. And I would say review their guidelines. I know they're vague, but review their guidelines on what gets boosted, and then look at the content that's been boosted before. I wrote an article about it, the booster bust one that you mentioned before, Christina, and it has a link to some places where you can see some of the content that's been boosted. Start studying those, because I think you'll figure out the type of nuance that they're looking for. I think you'll see that they're really looking for personal elements in a story to shine through. That is, of course, unless you're talking about, technology or something. So yeah, post in boosted publications and study other boosted posts, because you're going to get an idea of what they're looking for.
Would you like to be a nominator? And what would you nominate, Robin?
I did previously want to be a nominator, and I still kind of do, but there's a lot of politics and work that goes into it, and quite frankly, heartbreak of nominating these stories that you love that Medium in a few seconds just turns around and says, meh. So it is really frustrating in that sense. So I'm not sure if I want to be a nominator. But if I did, I do have a new pub called Ink and Tears, and it's writing advice for writers that's no nonsense and edgy and sometimes hard to hear things, but things that you really need to know. So hopefully I'd be able to nominate from that pub as well. And Christina, if you ever want to write for the publication, please do.
The only constant on Medium is change. It's really a roller coaster ride. What do you think about the current state of Medium?
I guess it'll depend on when somebody's watching this video, because Medium feels like it changes monthly. It's a roller coaster. It's a ride for sure. Currently, I think they're in a real growing pain stages with the Boost program and the changing in how their earnings are calculated. So I think it's a little chaotic at the moment, but I think it is starting to settle down, which is great because it's been chaos enough for the last couple of months. So I think we're going to look at some more smooth sailing in the future.
As you know, I recently interviewed Anne Bonfert. She's a non-native from Germany and she has over 180,000 followers on Medium. However, the number by your name can be a vanity metric as in Anne's case, and she earns less than us. You now have more followers than me. I have around 11,000 and you are about to have 14,000, which is awesome. You're growing super fast. So I'd like to know, is having 14,000 followers different from having less than me? And what role plays being authentic and embracing your uniqueness in growing on Medium?
Yeah, I do agree that followers can be a vanity metric. I am growing fast. I think just because I'm getting some mentions across the platform. I am getting known in the community. I've got my Discord group. I'm an editor. I think just the longer you've been on the platform, like Medium growth, in my experience, I know it's different for everybody, but it's not like this. It can be like this. And the longer you've been around, you're going to start getting to know more people. So you can start really kind of building that presence. But again, it is different for everybody. Some people just come on and post and, occasionally. But for people who are doing this regularly and treating it as a bit more of a job, even if it's a fun side gig, I think there really is great potential for growth. So having 12,000 followers, well, it's actually 13, closing in on 14 now. It's great. It's really cool to have that, number by your name, because it means that there are many people who read your content at least once and said, hey, I like this, I want to see more. And that's absolutely amazing. But it can be a bit of a vanity metric more than anything. I know writers with a lot fewer followers that get more views and reads. So it's definitely not the be all end all. But I do remember surpassing you, and I was like, holy crap. And now I think you and I are fairly neck and neck. So that'll be fun. We can have a little friendly competition. There are so many writers on Medium that you have to stand out. You have to do something different. People have to connect with you more than they connect with somebody else. I put up a silly picture as a placeholder of me with this mustache, and it kind of became my quirky calling card. And even that silly little things helped. And then just some of the, the humor and making people laugh. That's made a big difference. I do not think I would have gotten where I am without being a little bit different from some of the other writers. So I'd say very important.
You've been writing for 15 years now, and as an editor for New Writers Welcome, you see a lot of submissions. What are the absolute don'ts?
absolute don'ts when submitting an article to a publication, I would say first, read their submission guidelines. It's going to save you time in the long run, because if you don't follow the guidelines, you're going to get your piece sent back. And depending on the publication, it can take a few hours to a few days to a few weeks for somebody to see it. So reading those ahead of time and just fixing the small things that they ask for is going to help you get published a lot faster. Use Grammarly. I've been a writer for 15 years. I still use Grammarly just to catch some of the easy spelling and grammar mistakes. Like you accidentally type something incorrectly. Yes, you can use your eyes in editing, but it's just easier to catch your mistakes. It's not 100% perfect, but if you're sending in a submission that's just full of spelling and grammar errors, it's kind of unreasonable at this point in the game, because there are so many tools that can correct it for you. So editors shouldn't be spending this volunteer time to do what you could have done in 3 seconds with Grammarly. So definitely don't do that. And source your images to copyright-free sources. That's another common one as well.
We talked about Substack, and I saw that you are in the middle of creating your own website or blog. Some say you don't need a blog or a website on the web. It's totally fine to have this social blog on Medium or to be whatever on YouTube and share your YouTube videos. Why do you think it is important to have a blog or a website you own?
So the website that I have now, it's actually not in the middle of launching. It's just an old one that I need to redo. So thank you for the reminder that I need to update that. It does need some work. So I created that one just for my professional writing career. It's nice to have something to send prospective clients to. And it sounds like such a small thing, like anybody can make a website, but it does make a difference. The level of professionalism as a professional writer of having a website versus not having one is huge. And my website's not even a great website, clearly demonstrated by the fact that you thought it was in launch. But even my not great website has gotten me jobs. Now I do need to redo this. I want to redo it with more of my new brand that I've developed since being on Medium. So that's going to be the vision moving forward. I just need some more time in the day and a little bit of chutzpah to get that started.
Do you also have an email list, and how do you grow it?
I do not have an email list. The only thing I have is my Medium subscribers. I am going to be changing that now that I've got my own YouTube channel and my Medium. I really do need to start doing that. It's advice I've been stalling on taking for a long time. But so far, I really only have my subscriber list on Medium, but I need to work on that.
Recently, you started your own YouTube channel. I know it is a lot of work, especially if you have 2 kids in the house and this is not your full-time job. So what is it like to have your own YouTube channel?
I think starting a YouTube channel is kind of like having kids. Nobody tells you how much work it is, because if they did, you'd never do it. It's a lot of work. I don't recommend it unless it's something that you really love, because it is so much work. Christina, I know you know this. Anybody who's done YouTube knows this. The shooting time is one thing. Then there's also the prep time of what you're going to shoot and the energy that it takes to shoot. And then after that, you need to stare at your own face for, depending on how long the video is, half an hour, hours. And that's a really weird experience to get used to. And editing takes so much time. And I'm not even that great at it yet. So I'd imagine, I don't know, I might get faster, but it's a lot of work. So if anybody is thinking of starting a YouTube channel, really love what you're going to make the channel about, because it is a slow burn and a grind. And you may never make money off of it. Maybe you will. I went into it assuming that I'm probably not going to make money. If I do, very little. I didn't know exactly how much work it was going to be, So I think I've started doing interviews. I started that a couple of months ago. I've started doing interviews because it is easier to get content by having other Medium writers on and we just kind of gab a bit than for me to, create a script, film the video, edit it, etc.
Who would you like to interview in the future?
Now that I have my YouTube channel and I'm doing the interview series, I've had the chance to interview some of my friends, which was really cool, but I'm starting to branch out now. Actually, just earlier today, I interviewed Susan Brearley, who is the editor-in-chief of Medium's Mudium, which is one of their humor publications that has the boost. So she was absolutely fantastic. One day I'd love to get you on, Christina, if you're ever curious. I'd love to interview Zuli Rain. I'd love to interview some people from Medium, whether that be Tony Stubblewine. That's the dream. I'd love to have Buster Benson or Ariel. I know, Christina, you got to interview Ariel. So I'd love to have some people from Medium come on. But I just really love to get people who are doing things uniquely on Medium and doing things well. So I'm going to keep asking different people and see who says yes, because that's how you can get a lot in life. You never know what you can get by just asking. I didn't think I'd get Susan Brearley to interview with me. I asked her, she said yes, and we were interviewing in 2 days. So good life lesson, I guess.
Who was your favorite guest, Robin?
Don't ask me that question. A lot of them are my friends. So I've had a lot of fun. Me and Jason had a great time. Jason and I gab all the time, so it was really cool to just talk to him face to face and have it on video. So that was a lot of fun for that reason. Gerald Sturgill for the same reason. Also Patrick Stewart, I talked to him quite a bit. The interview that I did with Christopher Robin was really fun because I didn't know him quite as well as some of the others. But he's also a really funny guy. So he and I got to kind of riff a little bit. So I had a lot of fun. He might be my favorite so far just because he was the one that I do talk to him sometimes, but I'm not as close to friends as some of the other people I've interviewed so far.
Medium is about to hit 1 million paying subscribers. Do you think that Medium's future is looking good?
I think Medium's future is looking good. They're getting more new users to the platform than ever before, which is incredible, and that's fantastic. I do wonder about how big it's going to be with their push for expanding the MPP to other countries, and how many new global users they're going to bring on. But then I also think about customer retention rate and how they're getting people to not just become members, but to stay members. Because finding new members is great, but if they're not staying long enough, then it's a continual grind. And it's kind of the same thing for writers. Going out and finding new readers every time is difficult. Building your readership is really the easiest way to do it, because new readers every time, it's a grind. It's a real grind. And I kind of see that's sort of how Medium's treating it, or so it seems. And I'd like to see them focused a little more on, I guess, listening to their audience about what they want, so that everybody falls in love with Medium as much as you and I have, Christina.
Next year, when Medium hits 1 million paying subscribers, in the pot will be $50 million for Medium writers. Do you think we will earn more? And what will 2024 bring, in your opinion?
I think some people will, which has always kind of been how it is on Medium. Certain people get a bigger chunk of the pie. I do think the Boost program is a good equalizer for new writers, so that's really cool. But in terms of making more money, no. Number one, they're going to be opening up the platform to other countries. Once it hits India, and I know they're working really hard on getting Stripe and India to work. Once that happens, yes, there's a new market for more readers coming on, but that's going to be a massive impouring of writers. So the pie's getting bigger, but there could also be more writers taking out of the pie. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the people who will be earning the most in 2024 are the people getting boosted regularly, because those stories are being paid, in my experience, 10 times. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing in 2024 and moving forward. But again, it's Medium and they change every month. So it's really hard to guess.
I love all your critical stories about Medium. Tell us, Robin, what's wrong with Medium in comparison to Substack, for instance?
Oh, how much time have you got? I absolutely love Medium. I think they're doing a lot of things right. I am critical of certain things just because I firmly believe that in writing, in journalism especially, which is what my degree is in, it's the criticisms that help people grow. My criticisms change a lot because Medium changes a lot. I'd say at the moment, it used to be that they weren't opening the MPP up to other countries, but they're working on that, so that's good. Right now, I think the boost is really overpaid compared to non-boosted stories, and I think that's a really unfair advantage. And I think the boost program needs to scale a lot quicker than it is. But I know that they're having a hard time with that. They're working on it, so it's just really a matter of time. So I guess I don't really have that many problems with Medium right now, other than the fact that I'd like to see more social aspects come to the platform. I think they're kind of pulling away from the social element of it, whereas other platforms are diving in. For example, on Substack, they released their new notes feature, which, Christina, I know that you use because I've been following your Substack since you started it. The notes feature is really neat because it's kind of almost like a little Twitter, almost, because I'm not calling it X. And they're really running with that technology, and they're integrating these other aspects, whereas Medium is doubling down on just content. I think they should have DMs. I think they should have status updates. I think they should have the entity bar so that you can interact with the people that you come back to the platform for. So, I think they should have a little mini Substack within Medium so that you could create a Substack within Medium where you have your regular paywalled content, but then you have another section for super fans who can pay a microtransaction of, say, 50 cents, $1 a month, up to whatever you want, I guess, where you can have premium content for your hardcore fans. And I think that would be a great competitor to Substack, because Medium's current strategy of, if you like Substack, go there, I don't get it, and I think they could be doing a lot more within this platform, but I do understand that they're a small company. There's only about 80 employees, so they are kind of limited in what they can do, but I would like to see them embracing the changes more rather than pushing people off to other platforms. Like, for example, Tony Stubblebine trying to make Mastodon happen. He's the only one so far that really seems to like Mastodon. It's not catching on. So rather than pushing people off of Medium onto Mastodon, why not have a place within Medium to do that?
I know you have a lot of raving fans out there, so let's get a bit more personal now. I'd like to know, what is your favorite dish and drink?
My favorite food is sushi. I could eat it all the time. When I was in Japan, I not only had it every day, some days I had it twice a day. Sushi is definitely my favorite food. I also love Indian food, but sushi is definitely the number one favorite. My favorite drink, I love coconut water, and that's going to be my healthy answer, but the reality is probably Diet Coke. Not sponsored. Caffeine definitely gets me through the day, so I'll go with Diet Coke.
What's it like to live in Toronto, Canada?
So I'm from Toronto, and I just moved back here a couple of years ago after living abroad for, I think it was almost 12 years. It's nice to be back because it's a great country. Toronto is a great city. It's very, vibrant and there's tons of stuff to do, but it is cold and I do not like the cold. I hate the cold so much that I spent over a decade living in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, not just for the amazing food and the really cool people they have down there and the vibe and the beach, but because of the heat. So I love Toronto and I love Canada, but I wish it was warmer.
What's your favorite writer you love to read on Medium?
That's really hard because there's so many people that I read. So I read a lot of the people who are in my Discord group. Like I read like Jason Provencio, and a lot of my friends. So Gerald Sturgill, Victor Cardenas, my friend Ricky Doppler. When she posts, she doesn't post very often, but when she does, it's comedic gold. I really love a writer named Mirko. He is from Eastern Europe. He is absolutely fantastic. His writing it's quirky and intelligent, and he's got some funny bits, but yeah, he's just really clever. So I really enjoy him, and whenever I really want to feel that like creative creator vibe, I often look to DJ Hopkins, who writes a lot about music and nostalgia, and I just find that he can kind of transport me into this creative world. So I have to go to him. But I also look a lot for content on topics, so I'm constantly reading different writers. So I'm not going back to the same writers all the time, even though I do have ones that I go back to regularly.
What's your favorite thing to do in autumn?
I'm not a huge fan of fall because it's the end of summer. But I'd say I'm a basic bitch, and I'll drink a pumpkin spice latte wearing shorts and a sweater and Ugg boots or whatever. I love enjoying the leaves and taking my dogs for a hike in the beauty of it, but mainly I'm just sort of starting to get into that winter hibernation mode, other than Halloween, which Halloween is my favorite holiday. So that's probably the highlight of my autumn.
And last but not least, how do you celebrate Christmas?
Well, I'm not a religious person, and in fact, I'm staunchly anti-religion. I think the world would be a better place without it. Too many wars being fought, too many people fighting, too many people self-righteous. Anywho, I think people should just be nicer to each other in general. So I'm not religious. I don't do any of the religious Christmas stuff, which isn't uncommon these days. And I don't have kids, so I do some stuff with my nephews, but really mainly Christmas for me is just holiday. It's a holiday with your family. You're spending time with your loved ones with great food and drink and, telling stories and talking about your year. So that's my Christmas.
Thank you, Robin. This was so much fun. If you liked this interview with Robin, hit the like and the subscribe button. This really makes a difference for my channel. See you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.